Welcome to episode 60 of our board game podcast, A Master's Degree in Rolling Terribly. I'm your host, Eddie. Joining me this week, a man whose pieces and parts make up a great whole. Gaz. Say hi, Gaz.
Hi, Gaz.
Little prison joke there.
Oh, okay. That's what it was referenced to. Yep. Makes sense. So thanks for that one. Oh, I just don't know because I'm always waiting for the shade. So it's always like, okay, that not shade.
I was about to
shade,
say, I don't even know where this is coming from, but obviously I do know where it's coming from. But I've thrown some nice ones in there that have surprised you.
No, you have. I have. I think I keep.
I can't remember the last one.
No, neither can I. But I keep expecting them to be bad, but they're not. So yeah, no, it is. I am currently, being a micro machine, controlling many other micro machines.
And like, there's more of these coming.
Cool.
Yeah. It's really cool, actually. It's reaching out. There's a bit of a backlog, and I'm going through them and go, okay, which one's next every time. So it's really fun. Keep sending them through, and then that's one tiny thing I don't have to think about every single week.
Yeah, that's it. Well, if we can just do that, but for the whole podcast in little bits and pieces, then by the end we don't have. It's just mix and match, right? Like we just go, here are all the ideas. Let's just jam them together. So
yeah, we are recording in person again, which always feels really, really nice when I can sit opposite you and it feels relaxing, and we've still got the table set up the way we had it when we played earlier in the week. Because Gaz is now playing Star Wars Unlimited, and that's just around the corner from my house. So on Fridays, we've kind of worked out that maybe once a fortnight or once every couple of weeks, Gaz can come over and we can do these in person. So playing around with some camera setup and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's going to feel more like we're on a radio show.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because it is really cool talking in person.
Yeah.
Like it is. You don't have
It feels faster. It, like, I don't know, the response or whatever feels faster. I can look at you properly. I'm actually looking into your eyes as opposed to looking at the screen. So yeah, it makes a difference. And I hope other people can, I guess, feel that.
Yeah. Well, also the sound quality, I think, is a lot better. I listened to the one recently and I just noticed how much Discord just munches the recording.
Yeah.
Because if I record with that mic, normally it sounds good. But on the podcast, it just sounds less good. There's just,
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we can bring you all a better quality podcast.
That's right. And if people like it enough, like this, I can remove all the games and we can soundproof the room and everything and have a full studio here.
Yeah, let's build a studio.
Let's build a studio.
Patreon. Let's go.
Patreon studio. 50 cents to everyone will help us build a studio. Really slowly.
Yep. I mean, we already are going to start offering Patreon for Deddy doing all the voice lines for all of the scenario and readouts, right?
It sounds like it's going to cost money than it's going to make.
Yeah, but it's not about the money. It's about the journey.
It's like a funny skin pack or something.
Yeah.
A community pack that serves no purpose and looks stupid, but people want it because it's a collector's item or something.
Yeah, you got to break a few eggs if you're going to make a voice pack. That's the saying, isn't it?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. On today's episode, we're going to be covering scenario 27, Depths of Delirium. We're going to have a short topic that was added to our topics. What are they called? Topics channel.
Yeah.
In our Discord. So join our Discord if you want to jump in and ask us anything and write topics and flame dwarf and all that kind of stuff.
There's heaps of good people to...
So many good reasons.
Yeah, no, lots of good reasons.
Yeah. And we're going to get double and maybe triple perky. Yeah. Getting perky with it.
Getting perky.
Getting perky with it. So, Outpost Phase in the last game, because we actually started with an Outpost Phase this time. Do you remember what happened in the section event?
The section. Yes, I do, actually. I do. Because we've been waiting for it for like 87 years, like insert Titanic 87 years meme, right?
Yep.
So the never ending story took forever to end. If you follow the podcast, you know what we're talking about. And then the resolution took even longer.
Yeah, it did. It finally happened. So El Snowflakeo, after I've gone through the shackles and I'm halfway through the media. That's how long it's been since. That's a ridiculously long time.
87 years.
Yeah.
It has. Yep.
And Snowflake came back and gave us some kind of, I don't know, some Algox tribute. Thank you very much. I'm back.
Oh, that's right. She came back and was like, hey, look, we were having this really big party and we had all this leftover food and we know how starving and poor you are. So we brought you our scraps. Happy Frosthaven. Yay.
But she said all that at the quarter of the speed that you just did.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. It took her 87 years to tell us as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And we were really excited until we got our reward. And I think there has to be another like tier list or something for retirement rewards.
Yeah.
Right? When the character comes back and they give you something. Because we've had a real mishmash of different things come back. And we are I guess we're so far in the game right now. And she's actually an early-ish character, right? One of the first unlock we had, maybe.
Second
Second after Trap. So, yeah, she came back and gave us 3 morale, which is pretty cool. Right into the gas bucket. And it wasn't full, though.
Well, hang on. It wasn't full, but it still overflowed. Okay, so she gave us enough where she topped us up, but then just kept tipping. We're like, whoa. That bucket's full. Maybe there's all these other buckets which we are not full at all. We'd love something. She's like, no, have more morale. So, yeah, I think
it was a real letdown.
We need to do a tier list of the moments which we wanted morale the least and when we got them.
Is it fair to say that characters? No, yes, but is it fair to say that characters coming back, were they exciting in Gloomhaven?
From memory in Gloomhaven, it was different because you shuffled the event in, right? It was always an event because that's the way it all worked. But sometimes it was hard to know because you had a choice. And I remember them being really tricky to figure out what the right one was. Like, I remember there was a character, and this just sticks in my mind from playing digital, right, and playing. There was a character that came back and you met them. And it was something like, they come to you and they say, I walked around and wandered around and couldn't find it. But like my big dream is to do this thing. And your options are like, tell him that he should follow his dreams and go do this thing, or just tell him just to be sensible and chill out, right? And we're like, 100% tell the dreams. And you do the tell the dreams one and it's bad. It's like lose reputation and gold or something like that. And it's like, what? Like, it was really weird. So it tilted us a bit on like, what's the right thing to do? Because they kind of approach you and go, which way should you go? So I don't know.
So when they come back, there are actually events that you still have to make a choice.
Yeah. Sorry, they just work as city events, maybe as road events, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, they come back as choice events, just shuffled in.
Yeah.
So they're not like section events where they come back and go, here's the thing, right? Like, hey, I've come back and brought you something.
So them coming back, is that going to be a nostalgic thing? Is that why that's why when we knew that Drifter first came back, the excitement in the room was like huge because it was the first time. It was like, what's going to happen here? And then, we got an item out of it. So it was still relatively cool. Since then, it's kind of been downwards.
It's gone downhill.
Trying to bit up a little bit, but mostly down. And now it's like, there's no excitement if anything comes back up other than pure nostalgia. Oh, that character's back from a flavor story point of view. But whatever the reward is, it's super underwhelming every single time. I don't know what it could possibly be to make it like amazing. You don't want it to be too amazing.
Anything. Like, what's better than morale? Anything. Anything in the game, that any bucket that you can possibly fill is better than morale because every other bucket is not full.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. That doesn't matter.
At least make them bad.
One would. If she come back and said, you know what? You're poor, but so am I. Here, have 1 lumber. We would have been like, that's shit, but not as shit as 3 morale.
If she came back and it was like Insta Outpost event, we're actually not mates anymore. Yeah.
Oh, fisticuffs.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah,
right?
especially
that's what I mean if they're bad.
Especially if when we drew the attack, we drew the Algox card and we're like, you're fighting yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I agree. Yeah, maybe that's a topic for another time.
Yeah.
We talk about that. But I think it's really cool that they do come back. I think it's a bit shit that some of them come back through events, because there's a chance that we don't see them. And yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe it just needs to be a bit more epic.
Yeah, okay.
And that doesn't have to be into reward, but I mean, maybe it does.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I suppose the problem is they can't make it key stuff, right? Like, it can't be they come back and give you something important, because if you don't get that character, unlock that character, retire that character in the right order, you could just go without something. So,
and they can't make it too powerful either.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it can't be like game breaking. Like, the Blink Blade comes back.
They've already thought of all this, guys, which is why they said
they have to be shit morale.
How much morale do we have in the bucket? Yeah. All right, give them a couple of morale.
Oh, actually, that'd be a really interesting start. I want to know how much total morale is there from events and outpost phases and stuff. Like, what's the maximum plus morale you can
I reckon
get?
someone can crunch that.
Yep, they can. And they'd probably be like 1 million. They're like plus 1 million morale.
I think someone crunched that number for something completely unrelated, but they broke down I can't remember what it was. They broke down every single scenario. Negative scenario effects. And they actually statistically had like this is how many give you curse, this is how many give you -1s. They broke all that down. That person needs to break the morale thing down.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was really interesting to read because I think there was a discussion on the Reddit about Gloomhaven scenario effects being worse or better than the Frosthaven ones. I can't remember the exact context, but yeah, I remember reading that going like, okay, interesting. And it's funny because that came right after we were having a chat on, I think on the media, you have a perk that's ignore scenario effects. And I was actually saying it might not be worth it.
No.
Like you're that far in now.
I'm too far in now.
That I don't think they're that bad.
No.
Like discarding cards is the worst.
I might be 7 or 8 scenarios away, maybe 9 at the most, but like maybe it'll be 3 that it'll affect me. And it might be like, -1s. Discard card is worse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst. And I mean, even we had Bane and it wasn't that bad because you just chuck some heals out, right?
That was pretty bad. I think Banisphere helped us out there.
Oh, definitely Banisphere.
I'm not wasting a healing pot on that.
What, you'd rather take 10 damage than heal for 6?
Don't put it like that. Banisphere definitely helped us out.
Don't make me do math.
It becomes a numbers thing. We also had a road event. So the Outpost event. Do you remember this one? All right, good. Funnily enough,
I think it went back in it went in a winter deck, right?
It was Bug on a Jar Harrower.
Oh, yeah, that guy came back.
Came back and asked us, do we want resources or an exotic item? Which is pretty cool. Yeah. Like it was already way better than the Snow Dancer.
Well, the Snow Dancer gave us resources and that gave us morale. So there's absolutely no way we were choosing resources in this one. Because it would have been like, resources, that sounds great. He's going to give us heaps of like, we're going to build shit. And he's like, yeah, have some morale.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we took the item, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think we got some plate mail or something, which I think Gaz is using right now. It's pretty cool.
By default,
Yeah. We also upgraded 2 buildings. I think we upgraded the temple. Now, upgrading the building was really cool because it gave us absolutely nothing different, but it did give us fire prosperity, which is
that was good.
Really nice surprise.
Which is funny, right? Because this is the stuff that we should know. Because it's completely in the game rules to be reading all the upgrades.
Yes.
But we play it in a way where we don't know what the next upgrade is. So when we're deciding between buildings, it actually makes it more of a decision.
Well,
right?
when you say it, you're looking after the campaign sheet and the buildings, right? So when it comes to what do you guys want to build, and you're looking at your treasury, right? You're looking at the resources we have available and what we can upgrade. And we don't know what the upgrades will equal, but you do call it out. We can upgrade the temple, we can upgrade the enhancer, we can upgrade this. And we're sort of like, okay, maybe that one. And then you go back and go, which one? The enhancer? And we're like, yeah, let's just do that one. And then we got to pick another one. But we're going through that list, basing it on, there's guessing in there. What do you think is going to unlock an item, a character? You know, it's just kind of going through a priority system based on nothing.
Yeah. But I think, if anything, it makes it take longer. Because we can't plan it out, right? Not to go down this conversation again. But I think it makes it more interesting.
It does.
Because we're upgrading and there's a sense of mystery. Whereas if you know what all of them get, going into the Outpost phase, there's no what are we going to get? It's like, oh, well, we need X amount of resources because this is the next one we need to upgrade so that we get this, right? Like, we've actually made it harder but made it better.
Well, does that make the Outpost phase better? I don't want to go into the Outpost phase conversation again, but because we don't know what the upgrades are, we do have little drippets of surprises coming to us every Outpost phase, maybe. So,
yeah, exactly. So we've made it better. Now, we've probably made it worse for people who hate it, right? So if you already don't like it, don't do this rule. It doesn't make it better for you.
Yeah.
Right? It just makes it more extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No, I like that. And then, we upgraded those 2. We were done. We headed out to our scenario for the day, which was also Summer Road Event 43. And I only just noticed they're the same number. Our press event was 43, and so was the road event.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
This was the I'm gonna remember this one. This was something to do with the Great Oak.
Yeah, it was. It was something to do with a sapling or something.
That's right.
Along those lines, we had to protect it, I think.
Planted a sapling somewhere, and they're like, "Oh, the secret sapling," and then we're like, either help them protect it or send the resources to the main one, which I don't know. I don't know if they meant Gloomhaven or Frosthaven. I assume Frosthaven.
The Oak people?
Yeah.
I don't know. Frosthaven's like a hole.
Like, what do you mean?
Wait, Frosthaven's the crap version of Gloomhaven.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
but they had a sapling, and I don't know if they were like the sapling is from Frosthaven or from Gloomhaven.
Oh,
And when they were saying, yeah, anyway.
do we have a great tree?
Well, we have to. We got a temple, right? Isn't that? I think maybe that's what we did when we built it. We built
Maybe there's a
tree.
plant in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, that was a cool event. We from our decision actually got we actually got some prosperity out of a lot of this, which is pretty cool. All right, let's talk about our scenario for the day.
That's not really great. It's just like a tree in a bunker.
Oh, okay. It actually is a tree. So it's not really a great oak then. It's just a tree.
No, it looks like a bunker, like a Terran bunker from StarCraft.
Yeah.
There's a tree poking out the top. So
Yeah, okay. Scenario 27, Depths Delirium. So this is the next part in the flowchart from what we did last week with Scenario 17. It made sense to go and do this one as well. So in terms of why we're here, that's it. It's still one of the key things that we need to do that's not a random side scenario or a job posting.
Yep.
So that was a nice, easy decision. The scenario goal for this is the scenario is complete when all the altars in it are destroyed. At the end of that round, we read a thing. There's no scenario effect with this. Special rules. Whenever any character suffers damage from a deep terror attack, not retaliate, not, I don't know, other dumb stuff, an attack, they remove a card from their hand or discard pile to their own separate pile of taken cards. So you have a separate pile. In addition, whenever any door is opened, all characters must move one card from their hand or discard pile to their taken pile. Taken cards can't be interacted with in any way. Each altar in the scenario has 5 health. It's an enemy to us, allies to monsters. Whenever any altar is destroyed, the destroying character may...
May.
I only just saw this on the reread. May return all their taken cards to their hand. If you have anyone who mays that and doesn't do it, kick them.
Reasons. Personal reasons.
What, exhausting?
Yeah, I want to be the first to exhaust. Right?
Oh.
Or, hey, I want to sabotage my party.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's a very interesting may. But sure. Challenge cards. So we had staggered formation. At the end of each character's turn, all adjacent characters will suffer 1 damage. And we put it as finish your turn, slap a mate.
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
it. Punch him.
Just slap at each other. And
it's like a tag. It's like walk up and hit him and go, your turn.
Right in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Fool's Gold. Whenever any character loots 1 or more loot tokens, they gain Curse. Which we weren't actually going to bring that one, right? You said,
I did not want to bring this one.
You said, let's bring the first one, staggered one. There was another one we didn't pick. And you were like, we can do one. We don't have to. There's no race at the moment. We can get away with just doing one.
Yeah. But Mark was insistent on this, that we took it like he had a battle goal for it. Like his battle goal said, convince Gaz to take a second challenge card. Like that's what I was expecting once he picked it. He's like, good, battle goal done. It's like, what? Hang on. Like, yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. Look, it became really interesting in this scenario. And I think my thoughts were, based on what we had read and saw of the scenario, this was going to be tricky. And we didn't need to take 2 because we're at a stage now where we need 9 more till we finish the challenge.
Something
deck.
like that, yeah.
We can do them in 2, so we can do 1. I mean, this is great that we ended up like taking 2 because now we have the opportunity of doing 1 another time, right? So again, if we get really hard ones, we can just pick 1. But yeah, I was pretty against it, but I was like, whatever, all right, let's go.
Well, it was kind of like I had Battle Goal had the least amount of loot, right? So I was like, that's fine. I don't need to loot things. So I'm not going to be. I don't want curses ultimately. So you guys,
Well, I had don't loot.
Yeah.
So I also didn't care. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to loot anything, so I'm not really concerned. But I feel like getting curses in our deck on what's supposedly one of the hardest scenarios in the game may be bad.
Yeah.
But,
well, we'll have to wait and see. Was it bad? Our pets for the evening were Wart the Lightning Eel and What Dog the Black Imp. I feel like those two are definitely a pair.
Yeah, the W pair.
Yeah. Well, there's also Weedy and Whiny.
Oh yeah. Weedy. Why does everyone start with a W?
I don't know.
Although Whiny's not whiny though.
No.
Or did we write whiny? I think we should have.
No.
If not.
No, I'll have to check. Not 100% sure. No idea.
Okay.
Monster combinations, we have Deep Terror, Living Bones, and Oozes. Our first room setup is a T-shaped room with 3 doors and 9 standees. Initial thoughts, guys?
I mean, coming into this, we had been told that it was really hard. Looking at the special rules, so this what did they call it? A
Taken pile.
taken pile, which I think should be renamed to something not taken. But so it was clearer. But that sounded like it was going to be something that was going to be a pain in the ass, right? The deep terror one we could avoid, so that wasn't so bad. Like this is my thinking at the start. Like we can avoid getting hit by these things mostly.
Yeah,
it's the opening the doors, meaning that we open a door, everyone loses a card.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, had us working out what do we do? Do we open the door, kill the altar, provided there's altars behind the doors, or do we open all 3 doors? But that's a lot of cards gone. You actually had to plan that and think about how we were going to do that, especially with the various or varying hand sizes that we had around the table.
Yeah, and we'll probably talk about this a bit later when we jump into talking about like scenarios and how we do those objectives. But yeah, exactly. We didn't know how many altars there were in each room, right? We didn't know how many altars there were going to be. I think we assumed there'd be 1.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of doing the math a little bit on like, all right, well, if there's 5, then everyone's going to get 1 and, someone will get 2, stuff like that. So yeah, like I mean, the fact as well is that we had 5 skeletons right in our face. And we had 2 deep terrors really far away, but probably within range of us, and an ooze.
Yeah, we had 3 oozes.
There are 3 oozes, yeah. I mean, that in itself, without taking cards and putting into this other pile that you lose forever, is pretty scary.
It's a hectic room.
Like a lot's in there. I mean, which is good though, because we compare it to last week where it was like, okay, you have no monsters.
Yeah.
And then when they spawn, there's only 4 of them, and then they're only ever living spirits, which are impossible to kill apparently. So it was interesting. It was an interesting start to it. And I think it was kind of a little bit of all right, do we go slowly? Right? Like this is going to be a long scenario, so let's go slowly, but we probably need to go really quickly because otherwise they're going to kill us.
Yeah. And we don't know how big this thing is, but the section link does say when door 1 is open, read this, and all the way to when door 5 is open, read this. So it felt,
you get a bit of an idea.
Yeah, just a slight hint. My initial thoughts were card economy, deep terrors went into the oof tier list recently, so now that they will attack you and potentially put a card into the taken thing, kind of makes them a priority. We don't have a blink blade anymore, so that's kind of awkward because blink blades, they have retaliate, but blink blades usually, as far as I know, they've got an ability that lets them just kill these things.
I feel like every scenario when we go into it, we're like, oh, okay, and this is the part that was going to be hard, and we don't have a blink blade anymore, so that's going to be hard, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Safe to assume 1 altar behind each door. Mark's going to need a few, and do we open multiple doors at once, or to make the altar retrieval worth more? So I've got some general notes that we'll flow through and jump in whenever you want to talk about anything. So 9 standees in the first room. How are we going to set up the first room? They had a funny thing where Phil was planning on going in and retaliating, which was really, really amusing. I didn't know Phil could retaliate, but he's apparently got a way of doing something with his pressure.
Yeah.
And when he's hard and then he gets slapped around a little bit, they take a digging.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that was with that was I think he was slightly misleading in regards to how that was going to work, because if all 5 of them had moved up and hit him, I don't think that he retaliates on all 5 of them.
No, I think he had another card that was retaliate though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
okay,
I think I think he was maybe doing a combo of both, and one of them he can choose.
Yep.
How he was going to.
And
do
now we
it.
did warn him. We said if you go the retaliate route, they are going to do something where they're not going to attack you. And they did.
Well, yeah, they didn't move.
They didn't move. So
he was hoping on all of them.
Yeah, he moved next to 1, and the rest of them just stood there flailing at him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mark wants to head to the back to start dealing with the deep terrors, so that's really good. We've got a pseudo blink blade, slightly larger, to deal with that. Gaz wants to do pet stuff. I don't even remember what you started as. Oh, repair drone?
Nah, the Zappy dude.
Oh, yeah. Zappy Pierce boy.
Well, because I've got to figure it out, right? This is again, only second scenario doing this, but I've got to try to figure out that the one that I start as isn't necessarily going to be like, that can be out, but then I can't command it. So I think I might have started as something else and then summoned that. Yeah, it's just all working out. If I want to make something attack, right, it needs to be out. So if I start as it, I'm not going to get that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. But then everything had shields, so I was like, maybe I do. I can't remember.
Yeah. Mark went in for a big glacier slap. So Mark, there's a bit where he got to do his big AoE on all the skellies. Now, when all this kind of happens, I pop Quenched Rage as my first thing, and I pop some bit of hazardous terrain on the floor because I see this and I want to really, magma orbs. I want to do that to the whole room with a power pot and everything. And I'm paranoid every time that everything's going to be dead before I get to do all this because for some reason I'm the slowest. And everyone had to reassure me, nah. Mark was like, nah, I'm only hitting everything for 3. And Phil was like, no, I'm not hitting very hard. And I'm sitting there like, okay, are you sure, everyone? I'm going to blow right now. I'm going to do all this. So, when we have a room full of stuff, we are all just maximizing how much damage we can do. And this is what DPS meters does to a group, unfortunately. Gaz sets up the Autobots, which is really cool. And we begin to clear the mess and plan around how to open the doors. So Mark goes and opens the eastern door, which is really cool, and we discover it has 2 altars. It also has an Elite Skelly and an Elite Deep Terror. And then Phil and I decide to go down the western side. I'm playing Meteor in case I haven't mentioned that yet, to find the same thing. And then, Mark and Gaz deal with their altars before we open the door.
Yep.
Can't remember. But maybe we should have planned this better and or realized that we probably don't need to kill the monsters, just the altars. This is a hindsight thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, except that they had deep terrors in there.
Yeah, I know. But there's a world where you can probably blow the altar up and then leave.
Maybe. Yeah.
The other issue with the deep terrors are they've got these big scary line attacks, and they're the ones that are really easy to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do them very often.
No.
They did them a little bit towards the end on that V-shaped one, but they just kept doing the standard range 3 little baby hits and crap like that. So our taken piles were starting to pile up quite nicely. But yeah, we kill our 2 sides here. We all get our cards. Our timing just meant that you and Mark got to get your taken cards back, only to then lose it from our side, I think. Yeah. And then Mark went and opened the middle room.
So I lost even more.
So you lost even more.
Yeah, and then Mark went and punched an altar and got his cards back.
He punched another altar. That's his second altar.
That is his second altar. It was like Pac-Man with those altars. Yeah. Yep.
But he was also claiming that he could last indefinitely in this?
Yes.
So why did he need the second altar?
Well, I mean, because he needed to get that card back, but I don't know why I think that's the cycle. So
gotcha.
He needed to use getting the taken cards back as a source of stamina, and because then they go into your hand, not into your discard pile, he was able to use one of those cards to get more cards back. So as long as he was like being fed an altar like every 5-6 turns, he could go forever.
Yeah. If you also got fed an altar, would you last longer?
Correct.
Oh, okay. 100%. So it works on you as well.
Yeah, I've got 10 cards. So if I have like 5 turns or 4 turns and then put 1 in there and 2 in there and then, they all go in there and then I eat an altar, I get all those cards back.
Yeah,
too.
okay, cool. So it works with you as well. I like that. I like that it's you're
all
basically
I'm basically a fist.
Yeah, you're a fist.
So no, it did work. It did. Yeah, I understand what he was talking about. But he was also taking more damage, I think, from things.
Yeah.
And he's got does he have a smaller hand size? He's got 9, right?
Technically, I think it's 8. And then
8.
Technically it's 7.
7 because he plays thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, the challenge card that we picked, the cursing one, I think there's loot everywhere and starting to get some of those curses into our decks. This was very important for later on in the game. I'm pretty sure you peeled up the first one, and then after you screwed that up, you just kept getting more.
Yeah, my battle goal was don't loot anything, and I think it was like the turn after I'd stood on something, someone's like, "Oh, should you have gotten a loot?" And I'm like, fuck me. All right, sure, that's it, because I didn't even notice. And so I threw my battle goal down. And I was like, well, I may as well loot one and take all the loot.
Yeah,
so.
like that's the team thing, is to stop everyone else from getting the curses.
That's correct. Yep.
So Mark takes the solo altar in the middle, which you said, and then he heads up the western side of the V-shaped room, and at the end of each side there's a Deep Terror and a Ooze, which, is starting to multiply a little bit. And Mark gets in trouble a little bit, and he's all freaking out.
Many troubles.
Monster trouble.
This is actually the second time he might have been like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. So there was a couple of these
And
instances.
after he had 2 altars.
After he had 2 altars,
Okay.
yes, yeah. So he's like, yeah.
So we all save him.
Yes.
And you, as the Prism now, are getting really, really good at bouncing between your robots to the point where I don't even know what you're doing, because you got a bot coming our way, because we kind of spend a lot of this time splitting up. We can't all go as a big group because we're slapping each other at the end of every turn as well because of the other challenge card. But you're going to the left-hand side, and what I'm really admiring right now on the Prism is that it's a 3D chess kind of thing going on for you, but you were like, I can save Mark, and it doesn't look anything like you can from a staring at the
Where I
board
am.
kind of thing. And all of a sudden you're swapping this, moving here, teleporting here, and doing it. And it was phenomenal. I think the only thing you needed was one of the oozes to die so that your pet started going the other way.
Yeah, well, that's it. It became this operation. So it was like Saving Private Ryan, but Mark was Private Ryan.
Yeah.
And we were all having to put this like tactical squad together to do all these things. And so I'm like, okay, cool, I can save him. And then like, oh no, but that ooze is slightly too close to my guy that would end up being safe. Can someone kill him? And you're like, I can go early before you so that and it became really good. And then we also remembered that if I long rest, I can just do whatever I want with my robot. So
That's pretty busted.
but it is. It is just with that going in, it's been that scenario there. I've kind of saw the amount of maneuverability I can have was really good, and also learning how to jump in and out to come back to my heal one, so that because there was a couple of times where I dropped really low, and then I kind of had to jump out for a little bit to heal, but I didn't want to just be sitting around doing nothing. So yeah.
No, it's very cool to see. I'm looking forward to seeing how far along you continue to take it. So we split up again and we look to clear the remaining 2 doors. Now, the card check that we generally do is when looking at the taken piles and everything. And I think you announced at this stage you had like 4 cards left or 5 cards left. You were the lowest.
Yeah.
And then, it's kind of a little bit scary. Then we made a decision only because I just remembered, because we are really bad sometimes at remembering our pets. But we had the fattest What Dog turn in this room where every single person got to punch either an ooze, a deep terror, or something. Well, Doug, I think you cleaned up like 20 damage or something just from that turn. It was very, very, very good. Technically, Gaz would have moved a card from our door, then middle door, and then Mark's door, and eventually our door. Oh,
You're reading your notes, but you were drunk?
No, maybe a little bit. It's got something to do with the fact that you are really, really low on cards right now because of your taken thing. So the timing of opening the doors in this scenario and not taking the deep terror hits is terrifying.
Yeah, I had 4 cards in my hand, right? Or 4 cards left total, I believe. I did a long rest. So excluding lost and also my pets out, which that's the other tricky part.
Yeah, you got heaps out.
I had like 3 pets out, I think, which I kept it at 3 because I knew that I didn't want to go too deep onto that. So I had 3 out. I think I had 1 or 2 in my lost pile, but I had 4 also in my taken pile. So I was only sitting on whatever the difference is. I think it was 4 cards. And it was this really awkward space where I'm like, I know there's an altar in one of these rooms. If we open both of them, then I'm just dead. Insta dead, right? If we open one of them, I've got to get rid of one, which is fine because it can be the card that I play. But Mark was long resting. So I was like, I really need to get in there. I need someone to go in there and open the door. But he was on like 1 HP and needed to rest. So yeah, it was a really awkward situation of like, oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah. So I've got here, Mark opens the second last door and we then don't open our door because we need you to not burn a second card. And we all probably don't want to burn that second card immediately until you guys at least get your altars. And then we have 2 normal terrors and 2 normal skeletons, and then Gaz goes in like a hero because he needs the altar really, really badly.
Yeah.
He also draws really, really badly on something. I think there was something you needed.
No.
You were 1 space away from
all of the altars in all the other rooms, there's been an altar within 3 of the door. Right, the first 2 wing rooms and also the main one, an altar within 3. And I had my cards, and I'm like, I had my robot right up next to it. I was going to jump into it. I was going to move 3, and then I had basically move 3, deal 1 damage to everything, and then 2 attacks. Right, and I'm like, okay, I should be able to kill it. Right, that's enough damage to kill it. I just need an altar within 3, 4 spaces away. 4 spaces away. So I move in and I just pummeled one of the things. I think I'd end up doing like 7 or 8 damage. I did a lot of damage. Like I drew really well, but unfortunately it wasn't an altar.
No.
So that made me have no cards, and then it just wasn't going to work out. Yeah. So yeah, that was the case. So I just went down at like a bit of a pincushion.
Yeah, you did.
Funnily enough, though, right? Interesting. And not so much spoilers for the rest of the scenario, but that seemed like that was close to the end. Like I'm in there and going like, okay, well, I'm just going to throw everything at it. I'll take all the attacks so Mark didn't get hit, et cetera, et cetera. That felt like, oh, okay, well, it's almost over. Like I won't be dead for very long. It was like another like 8 or 10 turns.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was ages.
Yeah. Because a lot happened. It was disgusting. And it felt really, really bad. But, an unlucky hero came out of nowhere. So I plan, while they're going and dying over there, I'm planning on how I'm going to go into my last room. I just basically am planning my cards around jumping in there with the move 6, destroying, smashing, like with attack 5 with advantage on one of the altars, which is fine. And then burning cards if I need to from the enemies, and then going really fast the following turn and smashing the second altar. Seemed easy. Seemed like this was 100% my job.
How could that not work?
Well, it had to. And we had a backup plan in the middle because Phil was 2-button memeing right now. He was like, do I go that way or do I go that way? Gaz is dead. Mark may need help. Daddy, do you need help? And I was like, I think I got this. And he was like, okay, I'm going to go with Mark. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was Phil's decision. He spent a lot of time moving between the 2 rooms. So here we go. Daddy's time to shine. I burst through the door and I moved 6 over to the treasure tile, which was really cool because I got a really brand new item, which I can actually use. And I absolutely fuck up the first pillar. All right. So that's altar. So that's first part done. All right. Mark on the other side of the room grabs their chest from their room. Because I got my chest, he got his chest, and he got baned from his chest.
That's right. In their room is a chest. Yes, there's a chest there. You got yours. You got a cool item. Mark got his.
He got banned on his turn.
On his turn. Yeah, we couldn't work out whether that was going to trigger like at the end of his turn. I think we ended up playing that he got it so that it would be the end of his next turn because that's what it says on it. You take 10 damage at the end of your next turn, right? So,
did we? I thought he took the 10 damage.
No, we didn't.
Oh.
We played it. So
that Mark wouldn't care about that.
No, well, that was the whole thing, right? The fist doesn't care because they have unlimited regeneration.
Yeah,
except if something triggers then. So, yeah.
Yeah. So they're dealing with their altar. Phil's coming in. I don't think Phil actually got to get there. Mark kind of dealt with it on his own. And then all eyes are on me. So I just need to go first, head over to the altar, and then use my another attack 5. I have another one there. So I play my earliest initiative card, which is 29 at the time, which is not that fast. And the Skellies play an initiative 25 card, which allows them to move 4 and attack 1, which plugs the hole that I needed to get to the altar.
Yeah. And if you've been following the last 5 weeks, jump is not something that Deddy does.
This blocks Deddy in, who still has no jump. Now, I had a chat with Iron and Wine recently because we were sharing notes on our meteors.
Okay, yep.
And he was just like, do you mind if I share with you the cards I selected? And I was like, no, go for it. And we were sharing notes. And the level 2 card and the level 4 card, he was just like, oh yeah, this is really handy for this and this. And it's also really handy for the move 4 jump. And I've just gone, I'm sorry? You what? And he's like, yeah, the move 4 jump. And I'm looking at the card. I'm like, oh, there's a jump there. What's worse is there's another card, I think at level 5. I think it's level 5, 4 or 5. And it's a move 5 jump. I have passed up 2 jumps.
You passed both of them.
I passed up 2 jump
So not
cards.
only do you refuse to take jump boots, you refuse to enchant any of your moves with a jump. You won't even take the cards that just say, do this thing that you can't do.
I'm starting to reconsider maybe swapping my boots. Okay.
What boots have you got at the moment?
The plus 1 to move.
So that you can do the 1 extra hex of difficult terrain when you move.
No, I'm not even using that card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was thinking of, doing it to get the extra one from Igneous Path, which is the one where every square you move out of or hex you move out of, you leave a hazardous terrain. I don't bring that card anymore.
Yeah,
So
cool.
really it's serving no purpose other than allowing me to move 1 extra
more
every
without
rest
jump.
cycle. Yep. So a jump really would have saved me here. I didn't have it, which meant that I had to then alter my plan a little bit. It's still okay. I needed to just use the attack 5 on a 5 HP normal Deep Terror.
Because remember, for a visual for everybody else, now Deddy is sitting in a corner with 2 Deep Terrors next to him and 2 one skeleton next to the other one. Oh, no, it made
They're
it
both
through.
next to me. Yeah, I'm actually surrounded.
Yeah, because you are surrounded. Yeah, so you got 2 Deep Terrors and 2 skeletons next to you.
Yep. And I just need to basically hit the Deep Terror because if I can hit the Deep Terror, it doesn't give me the taken thing when it attacks me because if you can see their cards, they're doing not a schlong attack, which is would have been really good in this room. They're doing just a ranged attack, normal one. Oh, it was a double attack actually. Yeah, it was a top and bottom attack because they do 2, 1 melee, 1 ranged. And I went to hit. If I can kill the normal, I can move out of range of the other one, which will still hit me, but only with 1 attack, and then I'll be good
fine.
because the skeletons have already gone. So I do all that. I swing my sword and I pull a curse because of the challenge card.
Because there's Fool's Gold, right? Fool's Gold. As if that would
Fool's
ever
Gold.
come into play.
So I don't kill the Deep Terror, and then I get retaliated on,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's even worse.
and then the Deep Terrors double hit me
Yep.
with the tops and the melee and the range attack, and I drop like a sack of shit.
Did you die from that?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
I 100% did. So there's one altar left, and it's in the room that I was just in, and Phil is in all the way on the other side of the map, and Mark is over there too.
Yep.
And at this stage, I'm joining Gaz on the bench, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, yeah, look, I screwed up.
I know how you feel. Yeah, look, and there's about 15 hexes between where Mark and Phil are and the other objectives. Like, I'm looking at it
Probably
now.
more, right?
I mean, the rooms are about 5 big, and they're at the back of the room. You've got
Yeah.
the whole V-shaped one, which is at least 10. So yeah, it's probably 15-ish. Like that's a decent amount of space away, and it's not looking good.
No, because the skeletons are still in the room. They're booking it. They're leaving. Mark and Phil are both leaving it. They're going through the V room now, and then somewhere along the way, Phil exhausts. Dread is in the air, but then we hear the reboot noise. Phil's perk kicks in, and he reboots up. He stuns himself, gets his 4 cards back, and proceeds to do a long rest or something like that. It was the first time and go invisible. It's the first time we've seen this, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So it's thank God, because he's going to save the day, isn't
Well,
he?
he's going to get 4 cards. He'll rest. He'll get rid of one. He'll have 3. He can have a turn, rest, have a turn, go, right? So but that's 2 turns. But Mark's actually looking really healthy now because he's managed to cycle all his stuff.
Yeah.
And he's also just, I think, doing a long rest at the same point as Phil's rebooting. So Mark's going in. He only has like 1 or maybe 2 cards in his lost pile because he very rarely rests. So he's basically going into this kind of situation where they're just outside the room. We've got a Phil stunned with invisible and 4 cards, about to have 3 cards, right? And Mark on full cards. Like, this is fine.
Yeah, well, Phil came out of his stun and did something. And I've got a thing here that says an awkward moment where Phil has to decide between long resting and short resting. And for some reason, this decision books him.
Yeah. So basically what happened, okay, is that the turn in which you die with the drill, you don't die, right? But you get stunned and you get invisible. So unfortunately, because that was on his turn, I believe, then the next turn, he was like, do I short rest? Do I long rest? Whatnot. Now, he was going to short rest, right? And he was going to short rest so that he could get his cards back so that he could just go. Because he had like he had 4 cards left.
Big attack.
Two of them were 2 move 6s and 2 of them were real big attacks. So it was like, it doesn't matter what I lose, right? I can make it there and I can hit this thing. Mark was long resting. And Mark's like, nah, bro, it's fine. Don't worry, mate. Just long rest with me. It'll be fine. Now, for some reason, I can't remember the exact sequence of it, but Phil was no longer invisible, right? But he was really far outside of the room.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay, well, the skeletons are about 2 or 3 away from you. That will be fine, I guess, because like I think they attack all targets, like the same target with all your attacks card is like it's either they don't move or it's a really small move.
Or a late card or
Yeah,
something.
or a late or something like that. Like you'll be fine, bro. Like it's fine. Don't worry about it.
That was Mark saying that.
That was Mark saying
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Yeah, because Phil wanted a short rest and just go.
Yeah.
Right? But he was being convinced to long rest. So anyway, Phil long rests. The skeletons draw the card, which is a move 3 and attack the same target with all hits.
Yeah.
Not ideal because Phil wasn't on much life. And the skeleton proceeded to walk up and wail on him. And unfortunately, because Phil was long resting, he didn't have any cards in his hand. So when he got hit, he lost 2 of them. And I think then he just died.
Yeah. No
So-
reboot.
No reboot. So it's like kind of like it went whoa, 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 whoa. And then that's it.
So he might. Did he say Mark?
I don't think Mark would go hit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think the skeletons were too far away from Mark. So, yeah. And so after that, I think Phil was a little bit annoyed about the situation in general. I won't say he's annoyed at any one in particular person.
No.
But I feel like next time he's just going to follow his heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark's been offering a lot of advice in this scenario.
Look, it was all fine. I think it was probably the fine play, right? It just didn't pan out.
No.
Although funny enough, because Phil was like, you do that thing when something goes wrong and you're like, oh, what would have happened? Sliding doors moments. If I'd made a different decision, would it have been fine, right? Phil gave me his 4 cards. I found him out, right, to short rest, because that's what we do when we short rest. We found him out to someone else and they pull it out. I pull both of his moves, right?
Yeah.
So I think like he would have ended up keeping one, but I think it was pretty close to not working out. So I don't know. Anyway, it was
Sliding doors.
So
it's all on Mark. 3 dead,
Yep,
and it's
3
just
dead.
Mark. The guy who we all thought was going to... Well, he almost died like several times, and definitely... The first room, he was in the corner getting smashed by the oozes and the scaly and the deep terror.
Yep,
and then
we
we
had to go
saved
save
him
him
in the V room as well.
Yep.
So it's funnily enough, he's the last one standing. And basically, he's got to slide his way into the last room because he does a whole bunch of icy stuff. And he said he's going to hit the altar for 2 or 3.
So, bottom of Seeing Stars, move 3,
Yeah.
attack 3.
Yep.
Stop it! Stop doing that!
And then top of Preserve Fury, which is attack 2,
Oh.
Take 3.
attack 3.
Yeah.
And then?
One more.
That's
Okay,
it.
all right,
boys,
3
that's
on-
it.
3
And
on the
then
altar.
I
Take some cards back, bro.
use that.
And we all lose our shit because it is still not dead.
Hey, this is
Yes,
it.
buddy.
You just got to shuffle your curse in there, mate.
Oh yeah.
I believe in you.
So what do I need to do?
2 damage.
And not get kabooked by Deep Terrors.
Yeah, I don't know how early their fucking disarm is. I think it's late-ish. Alright.
I'm gonna pick cards.
Hmm.
I need to go early, eh?
I mean, just as early, just fucking early in attack 2. Right click the throne. Right click the throne.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of move.
Oh, you'll be fine.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, tickling your butthole.
Yeah.
1,
That's the
2,
timer.
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He almost made it.
Right,
Yeah.
they're coming. Destroy it.
Yeah, I
Do
know,
it.
I know.
Okay.
This is down to the AMD. Is that it?
Is it end of the round?
End of the round.
She has to survive.
Oh god. Okay. No. Oh shit.
That's wound and poison.
That's not so much. It's just if he gets hit twice, he has to. Just. Oh no. You've got the cards to discard. As long as you don't burn a card here. 2.
Just bad if
Just
you get
fucking do it.
crit and +2 or
I
something.
mean, if you miss here, then we're fucked anyway. So
Yeah.
cool. Let's go. 2 damage.
Everything's riding on this, Mark.
Is that?
Everything's riding on this.
Just
Do we
don't-
play this scenario next week or not?
Just so you fuck up next
whatever
Monday
you,
or not.
whatever you do, just don't hit the deep terror because you'll take.
I've got to push. I can push it away from me.
Okay.
So, attack 3
On the altar.
on the altar.
Alright.
Oh!
Yay! Okay, that's heal as well. That's what we want.
So I should have healed. Did
Oh.
I heal myself from?
No.
No. So
So you get
that's
2.
2.
Okay.
Kill that altar bar.
I already did.
I think it's.
Oh, which gives me this back as well.
It does. Okay. Alright.
And
Feeling a little
then
bit better
I
about
hit the deep terror for 2.
And you missed. Okay.
Yeah,
of course.
but I push it.
Okay.
But then Mark has a second attack for some reason and lands the killing blow. And now all he has to do is survive the rest of the round. So the terrorists attack, and they can't kill him. And I think the Skellies tried to walk their way into the room. And it was such a butthole clenching, like just final round as we won. So literally by the skin of our teeth, we pulled this off. Now it could have happened earlier if I didn't cake it, or Phil could have gone with me if you'd survived. So yeah, Anyway, I'll jump to that section, the thoughts in the section. So we won. The rewards were 1 tick and 10 XP each, which is really, really cool. And here's the thing that finally surprised us. We got the Coral Shard sticker. We found it. It was in
Yay.
here for some reason. And I'm pretty sure there is some lore we missed or some puzzle book thing because we were sitting there racking our brains going, we're missing one shard. Where the hell could it be? And logically, it made sense that it can't be hidden behind a job posting. It may have something to do with the tavern. There were so many things going on. But no, we found it in this hellhole.
We probably should just listen to the multiple people who just consistently say, do the puzzle book, do the puzzle book, do the
Yeah.
puzzle book. And we're like, yeah, we'll get around to that. But we can't figure out where to go next. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to tell you what to do and I don't want to give you any hints or spoilers. But if I was to offer any advice, it would be to follow the puzzle book.
Yep. So slowly we are taking tiny snippets of advice. It also asks us to read a thing now, and we actually get a section in the section book, which I think is puzzle book related, which looks like some weird code, which we have taken photo and given to Mark and Phil to, I don't know, decipher and work out what it's for.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on the scenario?
I thought it was great. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. It was hard, but it wasn't complex. I think I talked about this last week, maybe around, with the pressure plates, as in like there's a lot of decisions and a lot going on, but the rules were fine. Like it wasn't hard. We didn't keep looking up rules to be like, how's this work? How's that work? Right? A couple little clarifications about when it triggered. So that's good. I think when you have like a cool, in-depth scenario, but it's easy to internalize. It was long, like, and not long as in like, I mean, it did go for like
24 rounds or something.
like that. But that's because that got drawn out. That was like, okay, well, Mark took like 5 rounds to get to the next room because he took it slow and then rested and stuff like that, which was the right thing to do. But I thought it was really good. I thought it was really, really cool. It was a cool little mechanic of just saying like, hey, there's this one monster that's going to do these things to you, and then the door. Because that's interesting, right? You could remove the deep terror thing, and then it's just really when you go through the doors. But the deep terror adds an element of random.
Yes.
And it also adds an element of it escalating.
Yes.
Like, it's cool when there's like a priority monster, and not because, this is going to kill you, but for some other reason. And I think that's what this did. It gave us a clear focus and kind of guided us a bit, but it also, again, brought in a lot of decisions around when do we do things, how do we do things, who is going to do them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I praise that they can pull out scenarios. I think I've mentioned this in the past where there's no spawns. It's kind of clean. It's like the moving the couch one. There's no spawns or surprises other than when you reveal a room, right? Just standard kind of ones there. And you know what you need to do. But yeah, the RNG deck of the attack modifier deck can really, mess you up. And of course, the monster ability cards. So I just said this was one of the toughest scenarios. And so much of it was down to the AMD randomness. The timing of the actual taking cards system in this is absolutely brutal. It's just the amount of times it's kind of like we had to keep checking and seeing, could we had all the cards face down for our taking pile in clear view of everyone else, and just to watch these things pile up and prioritize who gets to hit an altar. That's the other thing. You have to actually kill an altar. What if you are not very good at that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like it's interesting because it's not just when an altar dies, pick a player.
Yeah.
Right, like it's that person needs to go there and do the thing.
Yep.
And that's why at the end I was looking, going like, how else do we work this out? Like if there was a way of me getting out of my robot, right? If I had enough cards to do it, it was fine because I had a robot there that could have gone and killed it. But yeah, it is. It adds an extra element of puzzleness because you've got to get people to the right places. So,
yeah. So yeah, I like the taking cards going back into your hand. It's a cool little stamina boost because obviously it's removed and then it comes back into your hand to be used again, which is cool. But yeah,
the monster choice for this one as well was also very clever because it's pretty simple, right? It's deep terrors, oozes, and skeletons, right? Like, and we talked about this. Skeletons are the vanilla of monsters. They vanilla because they are still great, like they're really good, but they're not hard, but they can be hard. Like they're right in the middle. They are absolutely perfect examples of like kind of a good monster to have in there. And they were the least threatening out of everything here. The oozes are the ones that they're random, right? Like, are they going to split? Are they going to nod? Are they going to poison? Are they going to jump? Are they not going to move?
Are they going to move every single round?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. So, and then the deep terrors having this extra ability tied to them. They're already annoying, right? But their range is just ridiculous. Like they've got attacks that are range 6 that aren't the kind of big line attacks. And you get next to them and they do what they did to you, where they draw like 4 attacks, right? Or 2 attacks, and there was 2 of them there. So
And they spawn new ones as well, like the users. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Yeah, the spawning one makes it even worse. So it was a really, again, I like the word clean that you used with the no extra spawns. Like you knew what was there to a degree, and it was just about figuring it all out. And I mean, we could have lost that and blamed RNG.
Yeah.
Right? Because, there were a lot of times that things came up and didn't go our way. But you're right. Like, once we went into that last room that split off, there was like multiple decisions we all made, which impacted it, right? And that's the beauty of this, right? If we lost that, we absolutely can go back through and go, well, if you made this major decision differently, not you did one, I had one, Phil had one.
Well, there was a sliding doors moment where Mark, oozes are capturable, and we didn't capture one this scenario, which sucked. And Mark really wanted to catch one, but the ooze that he could catch, the only one that was left that I wasn't splitting, was on the other side of the room. So he was sitting there going, do I go all the way over there to catch this thing? I really need to, but I need to also open this door and stay next to this thing with Gaz, and he chose not to. So we don't get a new pet this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those potential things.
But that's it, right? Like, and in that situation, if he goes for that, then everything changes.
Yeah.
Because now he's over the other side of he's over that side. He's not going to go for that switchback go over, and it just all changes. So yeah, it is. It's again, that's one of the things that make this game amazing is that you have so many decisions to make
and fun people to play with.
And fun people to play with.
Who do stupid things and give each other really interesting advice mid-game. But yes, it's cool to see oozes again. Is Ormi going to have a good time on this scenario?
I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe.
The thing about this, right, is Ormi has a mechanic in there where you can actually lose a card to save him. Not in this scenario.
No. What? No, he doesn't.
I think he does.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have cared when he zerged up to
I'm pretty sure he does. I'd have to double check. I know mine was saying, luckily we threw lots of cards at him to keep him up.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why were we so scared in that one scenario that we had to like book it over and?
I don't know.
Oh no, we were scared we were going to lose the scenario because the guard didn't have that ability.
Yes.
Okay. So you can throw cards for Ormi not to die.
Yeah.
Oh well, that Ormi's easy.
Oh.
Every scenario.
No, not quite. Community-wise, this is seen as a really hard scenario.
I can see why.
One guy on Reddit started a thread about it on Reddit. And he's playing a 3-handed solo. And he kept dropping the difficulty because of the Terra RNG. And the first response was someone who said that they lost 3 times and then conceded and moved on because Siebes. And funnily enough, I went and checked Mandatory Quest's video, and he even conceded defeat towards the end and he's soloing it with 2-handed.
Really?
I don't know whether or not he's followed it up with another one. It was just one of the ones that I saw.
Yeah.
So quite brutal. And Mark at the end of that session even turned to me and said that is the closest he's felt. Like we've had a couple without him that have come down to that final round of, oh my God, we were all like freaking out. That was the one for him where he just said it was just insane. He's the last one left. It's all coming down to his AMD, like that kind of feeling. So well done scenario, right? To be able to pull that kind of feeling out again because we haven't felt that in a long time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, probably properly since the couch.
You keep bringing up the couches. I mean, it was pretty tense, but
that was
it
the last one, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that kind of came in waves because that was tense because we were 3/4 of the way through and Phil needed to somehow move 27 hexes, kill a monster, kill the boulder, and also escape, right? And we're like, well, no class can do that in one turn. He's like, excuse me, I'm playing the Blink Blade, right? We're like, oh, okay, I didn't know you could do that. But that was super tense. But then we still had half a scenario to finish.
Yeah.
So
where it differs is it wasn't the last moment of him.
That's
of
it.
The escaping. Once we got him in the clear, we all got to relax again.
Yeah, correct. It was like relax and plan this out.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was, again, more. It had a few points, but none of them were insta lose until we got towards the end. So yeah, you're right. It's been that way. But I don't know. I'd be interested to know more about the community and whether like class makeup or decision making makes a big difference. Because one thing to consider,
someone did say just elsewhere in the discussion that they were just ignoring the Terras and Skellies. Go in, burst with various classes like Deathwalkers who can teleport in and out, Blink Blades who can do something similar. Prism that can do something like that. And it was just a hit and run kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because once they've hit the altars, they don't care anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
And they're
Yeah.
not wasting turns trying to kill the deep terrors. So, I mean, yeah, there's that. I don't think we hit the lineup for that. Potentially.
I don't think so, especially not with 2 new characters that we're still trying to figure out. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting to see how people go. And I wonder if people are probably going about it the wrong way. Like it's a very long scenario. I think you need to play it like a very long scenario. But yeah, we also might just got really lucky.
Yeah.
And also the fist is supposedly really bad on this one, right?
Well,
Which
I mean, I've only got one scenario as an experience. So.
no, but multiple people said.
Oh, they're doing it wrong, right?
Well, no, I'm just curious about that, and I wonder if it's because the lower hand limit.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
Most probably.
Is it just purely lower hand limit?
It would have to be, but I think card choice probably is a major thing because Mark was using something to help him fish through his discards or something. I can't remember. Whereas that's not available to everyone because you have to pick that card.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to watch a few playthroughs. So,
Yeah.
people will make some playthroughs.
Yeah.
Battle goals. We had Pauper, never collect a loot token from end of turn looting. That's exactly what you did. That's you did end of turn looting and you picked one up early, like round 2 or something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of that.
Yeah.
And then I realized afterwards that I can loot 1 and it's fine.
Yeah.
So actually all the other loot that I picked up as a rage looting, right, didn't fail my battle goals. The one I accidentally picked up.
Yeah.
It's like I was walking along and like didn't realize it stuck to the bottom of my shoe, like had chewing on my shoe. And someone like a turn later was like, hey, by the way, you've got some gold on the bottom of your shoe. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Someone told me not to take any gold.
Good work. Shurka, kill an enemy not adjacent to you while you are adjacent to another enemy.
Phil has
was that Phil?
Yeah, and then you realize he doesn't have any range attack.
Does he not?
I don't think so.
Oh, you've got the long range missile. You took that modification, not him.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
gotcha.
Yep.
We had Ascetic, collect fuel loot tokens than any other character. That was mine, and I think I got that. I forced Phil to pick up a loot towards the end. Of something.
Yeah. You were like, hey.
I reminded him that many times. Yeah. Overachiever, kill an enemy and open a door in the same turn in either order. And I'm pretty sure Mark did that by accident. Well, he didn't realize he did it, and then till the end of that round, where he's like, "Hang on," and he had the backtrack.
He's like, "Hang on, if I hit this thing and kill it, I can get my So he had a couple of opportunities to catch slimes there, oozes. Sorry.
Yeah, but he hit one too hard. It was that bit where you're trying to hit them to get them low enough, but he went just a little bit too hard and he killed it. And then it was like, oh.
I think he hit it way too hard. I think that he hit it for like 6 and it had 2 HP or 3 HP.
Well, in the first room with the elite one, I hit one for 28. So
Yeah.
DPS. Phil, damage wise, 46 damage on his drill. He
job.
did spend a lot of time walking around, especially in that V room. So to pull off 46 is really good. Gaz pulled off 49, which is actually really good.
Considering I died.
You died, and you made great use of your pets, blinking around, using your pierce, and all that kind of good stuff, which is awesome. Mark had 74, which is huge. Like that's probably the biggest his fist has done. So that's coming through, and I had 81. Thanks to that 28. Thanks to the 28, because everything else was fairly average. Damage taken, we had Phil on 31, Gaz on 32, me on 36, and Mark on 87.
87.
Whoa. It's insane. Like,
Well, I mean, between damaging himself and then getting himself in a really shit situation going, help me, right? Like, it's going to, lots of damage.
that's true. Healing wise, Gaz healed for 14, Phil then for 15, Teddy for 20, Mark for 44. So we had an Outpost Phase. We had an Outpost event. Summer Outpost 19. This was regarding a festival with Mayor Satha. The people were like, we've done so well. We're in summer right now. What do we do? And she was like, I don't know. I don't run this town. These guys do for some reason. So they can make the decision. And she was like, what would you like to tell the people? Do we want a summer festival? Or do we want a winter festival?
That's right.
And we're going with the winter one. So.
Yeah, because we're full morale and I didn't want more morale.
No. It's basically, when do you want your morale?
Yeah, correct. Do you want morale now or later?
Definitely in winter.
The bucket's full now. It might not be full later.
No, because we're going to get intact in winter. So,
hopefully
we may lose morale.
Come on,
hopefully.
attack us. Yeah, I mean, we finished robots and we finished... did we take all the robot events out?
No. No, we should have. Like it's like the Algox one. I haven't gone through them and pulled them out. It's just if we see it, we'll
you
just skip it.
ignore it. Okay, but
Yeah.
there was we are
Yes.
no longer because robots don't exist,
No.
right? Okay, because we
Unfortunately.
exterminated them,
Yes.
except for the two,
Yeah, except for you guys.
except for us.
Yes.
Yeah, the last of the Mohicans.
And we maxed out our lumber mill and got a slightly better ratio exchange rate for buying lumber.
Yes.
No woodsman or anything like that.
What else did we do?
Did we build the second thing?
Yeah.
Did we upgrade the garden?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was stupid.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a topic in our Discord. Ricewind, right? Ricewind. He asked, how do people approach section and reads in scenarios? Like door openings and objectives and round timers and things like that. Do you trigger them ASAP or do you take a couple of turns preparing? Does the scenario fluff change in-game expectations about how each section read will go?
Yes.
And it's evolving, basically.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things to talk about here, I reckon. We'll go in reverse order because one of them we've talked about before. Does scenario fluff affect how you go about things? Yes, it does. And then we complain about it all the time.
Well, you complain about it all the time.
Wow. At the time, you complained about it too. Just once we get to podcast world, you're like, oh, I don't really care. Like,
I don't know if that's what happens.
nah, it's well, yes, I think the fluff we do take into account a little bit. I don't know. That's at the start though. I think if we dive into this a bit more, which is, and the way I'm interpreting this question, or I think we discussed, was when we're going through the scenario and we know what the objectives are. So for example, take the one we just did and it was like, cool, you got to open these 5 doors. Are we planning that? Are we just going like helter-skelter? Are we, stopping and resting and going through that process before we open doors or trigger objectives? Things like the pressure plates last week was another example. Like I reckon there was times where we were like, there's too many monsters. We can't trigger the next one because we're just going to get like overwhelmed. So I think, yes, like we do.
Well, once upon a time, we would someone
yes.
would open a door, just open a door.
Because it was Gloomhaven,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Well, like Gloomhaven, you just open doors.
I'm long resting, you're long resting, and you've just opened a door. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, cool. And then what will happen is there's a section event down the end. It's like, cool, unlimited spawns unless you break this or do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're all asleep right now, mate. Okay, quick, everyone go plug the hole kind of situation. And we've definitely slowed a lot of that down now. Now there's a lot more communication around planning.
Heaps more, right? Yeah. And I think there's, and maybe you're right. Maybe it was just a case of it happening, bad stuff happening continuously that slowly got it. Because it's not a conscious decision to not rush things in general. Like we just talk about the objectives. Whereas I think scenario 2 or whatever it was with the priest getting booked, we very early identified, okay, that was the reason we lost because we were like, oh, let's just open this door and sit here for 2 turns, right? And then the priest died. And we're like, oh, that was stupid. Okay.
It was this bit. It was the
Yeah.
the door with the skipping rope.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're waiting to go in. It's like, the whole
that's right.
dodo is like, oh, am I in it? Yeah. And then another one that comes to mind that was pretty close to that as well was I just had it. Damn it.
The guard with Ormy?
Oh, well, that was another one. Yeah, that was the example. Okay, so we opened a door.
Because Phil was all the way through. We were still in the first room. He went through the second room
Yeah, he
because it
just
barely had
ran.
anything.
Yeah.
And then he opened the next door and there was a guard at the end. There was a bunch of borrowing blades in that room that were going to book him. And it was like, you have to save this guy. And we're nowhere near the room.
Well, and I think you ended up moving like 12 spaces on your drifter or something like that. Yeah, he accidentally had the right cards.
No, it was the following turn, but it was something like that. But yeah, it just happened to
have the right turns to just move like the wind, which again, we didn't have a blink blade. So these things were like, we were still new. We were like, what? Hang on, you can't move that far, surely. So that was another one that we opened the door and then we weren't in position. I just remembered the other one, the Frost Prince, where, the first room, we were like, oh, okay, well, you guys all stay there. And I was like, someone like, I'll go open the door. And then they're like, we thought of this, like, whoosh, there you go. You're in the next room.
Yeah.
And not only in the next room, there's like a shit ton of skeletons that are like, hey, and you're like, oh, we're all long resting. Like we got booked really bad.
And I actually think there's a lot of people out there who complain about getting gotcha'd a little bit from these things. And it's kind of like, yes, you get gotcha'd. I think personally I enjoy that part of the experience, right? Debate and, oh, wow, that thing booked us in the end. We have to restart this. Yeah, if you have to restart the scenario multiple times, it sucks. But I really enjoy that it's changed our meta approach to how we approach doors, objectives, things like that. Is that we are spending a lot more time considering what could be behind door number 1 and how it's going to operate. And then we're a lot more prepared before we go in with our movement and everything.
I think the general gist of Frosthaven compared to Gloomhaven from that sense of urgency is you need to be ready all the time. Like, and they've actually done a pretty good. I mean, we spent the first 20 episodes complaining about no prep round, right? Because the game was always just like, go now, go. I feel like the extension of that, or the bigger piece of that, is you don't really have a lot of time to sit around and just do nothing. Gloomhaven, there was a lot more of that. It was like, we've cleared this room. Okay, everyone rest and we'll open the door together and we'll go in. And then that combined with like everyone going in really early, combined with lots of CC and controlling the room, combined with those perfect turns. I mean, it's probably the reason why you were playing on +2, +3 kind of difficulty all the time, because it was a lot more just like, you know, go like that. Frosthaven doesn't allow that. Like most of the time, not only is there fewer doors, first of all, but like a lot of the times the objective, you just don't know what's going to happen.
No.
You know, you can predict it in a sense, and I think we do meta a bit. So I guess the other part of that question was, you know, do you think about what's going to happen or use the flavor or the fluff to work it out? And we do. We go, oh, this is probably going to mean this, or there's a token here, so when we open that, it's probably going to spawn here, so we either do or don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. We definitely take into consideration, but I think we're just a lot better at just going, you don't get nothing turns. Like, you don't really get a lot of time to just be like, everyone just chill.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
when you mentioned like you need to constantly be doing something, that kind of the urgency removes the long rest mechanic in a way, because you need to go. So when you're long resting, and what they've done differently from Gloomhaven to Frosthaven is they've given so many characters like a long rest perk.
That's
right?
true, actually.
To make you then go, well, I want to factor a long rest in here, but here's something, a little bonus snippet of something to make it worth your while, whether it be a little bit of damage or whether it be, you know, something.
Yeah,
ultimately.
And I think the way a lot of the classes work, like I know playing the Coral, right? Like I pretty much exclusively long rested for the entire career of that character. Because I had the perk, but also because all of the pieces were so intricate, like you had to make sure you chose the right piece. The whole thing falls apart if the wrong cards get taken. And where I think a lot more than some of the other characters where you're just like, oh, that's my combo to do heaps of damage. This was like, oh, that's my combo to do anything, right? Like if that goes, I'm done, right? And I'm feeling that a bit with the Prism as well, is that there are key cards that I need to lose in a certain order, because I'm like, okay, cool, I don't have that utility anymore, but I need these ones. Otherwise, again, things are just not going to work. So having the perks in there is a really good incentive to do that. But again, it does feel like you're losing something by long resting. This is the thing, right? I don't think Gloomhaven ever felt like you were losing momentum by long resting. I feel like Frosthaven instills this in you that you are, right? You're taking an extra turn when you don't have extra turns to take.
Yeah.
And I actually quite like that.
I love that. I feel that though. I 100% feel exactly what you're saying. There are so many times where we would go to long rest, we're putting our number in, and we're seeing the situation, and then one person obviously is like, no, well, I'm going in. And it's kind of like, and Phil will be like, oh, and he gets the cards ready and he starts shuffling, goes, I guess I'll short rest, right? And we go through that now, where it's just becomes such a crucial decision. Long resting is a luxury that we just don't get often. And when we do, and we get those item resets and everything, it is the best feeling. Like just the cleanest feeling to get your boots back, your items back. Oh, it's so good.
It is, and I think I short rested a lot on the Banner Spear because I those moments in a scenario towards the end when I'd long rest and be like, oh, I've got all my stuff back. That's weird, right? But yeah, it definitely, you're right. It's a luxury, and I think it's done really well to create that. So I'm just going a little bit off topic, but I think that's kind of feeds into how we're thinking about our turns, and section reveals and opening doors and objectives is the same.
Yep.
You know, we are thinking about these things going in because there are consequences. It's not just a door. Like, it's not just we got to think about what's in the other side of that room because it could be monsters, right? It's thinking about, well, we got to think about what's on the other side of that door. And when we open it, we're going to lose a card to this taken pile or all that kind of shit, right? If you go stand on that, the monster's going to spawn over there and it's going to be a doom, whatever they're called, living doom. That we don't want that. So there's a whole bunch of things that go into it, which has been really cool.
Lastly, just quickly, we're going to talk about class defining perks, because we just covered some of them just then. And I wanted to go back and I'm thinking about when I was doing my media midway point review thing that I recorded earlier. I was talking about the 3 perker with the media.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, how important is this to get? It's 3 ticks.
That's a lot of
I
ticks.
know, it's a lot of ticks.
Heaps of ticks.
And if I was playing a more hazardous terrain builded kind of thing where I was putting it absolutely everywhere, which I'm not, I'm putting a little bit where I need it because I'm more using it to enhance my attacks or weaken them so I can hit them. It's just card requirements ultimately. How badly did I need to take this? And I was even thinking about the last scenario and how many times you guys were walking on it. And there was one time where I was like, Phil, you're standing on my hazardous terrain. Are you going to stay there? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, cool. I need to stand on that. But at the same time, I will take damage as well if I don't take that 3 perker. So it is a class defining perk. There was some discussion, I think, in the media forum, in the Discord channel, about its cost being maybe too high, but then 2 may not be like enough. It may be too low. So it's kind of a weird balancing thing. And I'm enjoying some of the discussion. So what I wanted to do was grab just a class defining perk. I was going for any of the 2 or the 3s. Some classes don't have a 2 or a 3. I didn't know that. But when I was going into this, I discovered that some don't.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick one from each class and see what your thoughts on it being, how do you think it is in defining, I guess, the class and how good it is.
Yeah.
All right. So the Bling Blade. At the start of the first turn, each scenario, you may perform a move 3.
Well, Phil had this and he didn't even know he had it. So I'm going to say it's probably not that defining. I feel like it's a win more on a class that is already absolutely powerful.
Okay.
So this could not have it and not exist.
Do you think this is a must take?
No. Well, I mean, like it's pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
Right, but didn't seem like he needed it because he never used it. So and yes, he wasn't the unstoppable killing machine that I've read some Blink Blades are, but he did a really good job of playing that character, and he killed everything all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's a requirement.
Okay. Banosphere. Once
Garbage
each scenario.
in the bin. It doesn't even
Hey,
exist.
it might have changed since I looked it up. They could have patched it.
That patched it.
Once during each scenario, during your turn, you gain 2 shield for the round.
No, it's terrible.
Why?
Because did you read it?
Yes, I did. Would you find this way more worth it if it was 1 perk?
Yeah, 100%. Because it's not 2 ticks.
Right.
2 ticks for one. Was it 2 shield?
2 shield.
2 shield for a round. Look,
Once each scenario.
Once each scenario. Look, this comes into build as well a little bit, which you're probably talking about as well with the media, right? I didn't go a super tanky build. I didn't really need to. I didn't need to be the focus. If I had gone more tank or if I'd spent more time being that target, I could see turns. I don't know. It's a tricky one because I can see times it'd be great. Like if my crab had that, right? Like it'd be the best ever.
It's once per scenario. Would it be better if they kept it at 2 perks and made it twice a scenario?
I don't know. Then
Anything more than that, it gets silly, right?
Yeah. Look, I don't know. Again, I think that's one of those ones that is neither here nor there. Like, okay, for example, for 2 ticks, could you make it 3 shield once per scenario?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, at that stage, you're getting to the point where you're like, well, if 2 isn't good enough, but 3 is, then 2's fine, I guess. I don't know. It just once per scenario perks seem really
Okay.
And gaining 2 shield,
Yeah.
because you have to do it on your turn
Yes.
as well. That's the part. If it said something like once per scenario, right, before or after initiatives are drawn, give yourself 2 shields for the remainder of the turn, that I can see being substantially better. Even though it's only once a scenario, it means you don't have to plan your turn around it, right? It means you don't have to go first. And if they pull out like something like a Chaos Demon 1 and they all just like, rah, and you go, okay, shit, it's okay because I've got this thing that I've put 2 ticks into that's going to actually help me in this case. I don't think it would be broken then.
Yeah. So you're saying it's hot garbage
Yeah.
and you picked it.
Well, because I ran out of other things to pick.
What?
Yeah, I got everything else.
Oh, that's right. Because wait, how? Oh, you did both your masteries. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the secret. Just do your masteries, right? Yeah, I think actually there might be one that I didn't get, which was when you opened it. Do we want to go down the rabbit hole of like shit Banosphere traits?
No,
because they're going to like tilt the entire.
No, because when your review comes out, you need content for it, right?
Yeah,
you need to be able to talk about stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I didn't get the other one that was also hot garbage.
Bow Shaper. At the start of each scenario, you may play a level 1 card from your hand to perform a summon action of the card.
I think that's really good.
pretty class defining.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Especially,
a 2-perker, which feels about right.
I mean, I remember Calvin got that super early, like really early. And when we did, we were playing. We were like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" Like you already start out with one, means you can summon on your second turn. Now you got 2 out. Like there's a whole bunch of different stuff you can do it.
Yeah.
The only thing with that is I think maybe later on it becomes less important because it's a level 1 card. So you're only ever getting out a skeleton or your wraith thing. And I know skeleton can feed into the bone horde, which can kind of keep you going, but maybe later on it just becomes not that great.
Yeah.
And you maybe don't want to do it.
So
So
get it early is kind of what
I
we're
think
looking
so.
at.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna get it, you definitely want to get it like as your first 2 ticks.
Well, I don't remember whether someone sat from whether they were top or bottom actions, but if they're maybe it's mixed actually. I'd have to go through the cards, but yeah, if it's meaning that on turn 1 you get to actually move while having something up, like the Wraith or whatever, it's efficient. Deathwalker. While you are occupying a hex with a shadow, all targets targeting you gain disadvantage. This is a callback. Does this automatically like give tank vibes? Is that what I'm thinking? While you're occupying the hex, so it's not once; it's anytime you're occupying it.
I think neither of us played the Deathwalker, right? So it was only what we saw on Phil. I feel like Phil had this. I think he forgot about it a lot, but I also feel like he wasn't standing on his shadows all that often. I think this is a playstyle thing because there's a couple of different ways you can play the.
It feels like so long ago.
Yeah, it does, like a different game, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's different ways. It seems pretty fine. Like I mean,
It's 1 tick.
oh well, 1 tick, yeah, it seems better than the Bannerspiel one.
I feel like that's a theme that's gonna be running through this whole
that's
segment.
it. Like that's it. Well, I mean, so far we've got like hot garbage at the bottom, and everything above that. It seems fine for 1 tick. It seems really good.
Okay.
But I don't know about class defining. I
Yeah.
think you could probably still play the class without it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Drifter has 1. It's 2 ticks. Whenever you long rest, you may move one of your character tokens backward 1 slot. It's been a long time again, but it's like, yeah, it's good. It's still better than the Bannerspiel one, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't you also have one that lets you hold 3 items?
I think that's a different perk, but I've selected the 2-perker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
is
for
that
discussion.
not 2 perkers?
No,
Or is that not a 2-perker?
I don't know. Some of them may have multiple 2s, and I've just picked one. There's a reason why I picked it. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but when I was going through the list, I just grabbed maybe a random one. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yes, I think you can have 3 hands.
And 3 hands.
And there's the other one that allows you to change your loot at the end of the scenario or at the
that's
end of the
pretty
round
cool.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think that moving the dial one seems it's just not good enough to warrant you always only long resting. If it was like, say,
That's a good
move
point.
1-2 spaces, right?
Yeah, okay.
Then you'd just be like, I'm never short resting again unless I absolutely have to. 1 isn't enough because it's just not getting you from something dropping off to being really far away from it. If you're crushing weight or if you go range or whatever it is on the last thing and you long rest and it gets back up 1, you really got 1 AMD to try and get it back the other way. Or I suppose maybe you've got your cards.
You've got other cards.
Yeah. So maybe it just gives you enough breathing space to try and jump it back a bit. But it's an interesting one because I think it's like a good perk, but again, not defining enough where you'd be like, if you don't get this, you just can't drifter.
I can't remember. I'll have to get Gunslinger to check my character sheet whether or not I actually picked this one because he's got a copy of that. Gemini, 2 ticks. Whenever you perform an action with a lost icon, you may discard 1 card to recover 1 card from your discard pile of equal or lower level.
Yeah, I think this is really good.
Class defining?
It's definitely class defining from a trying to reach that ceiling. You know, we talked about like trying to maximize and make the Gemini jump through all the hoops. I think it's definitely a 1. Now, again, I think you could play it without it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the fist ability, right? It's like going like if you have a card you want to play multiple times, here's your chance. Here's how you do it.
Yeah, it's just based on lost card. Lost card to you may discard 1 card. Yeah.
So what is it? It's when you play a lost card.
Yeah, whenever you perform an action with a lost icon.
Yep.
Does that mean actually playing it for that ability that's lost?
Yeah.
You may discard 1 card, right? I assume from your hand, to recover one card from your discard
Yeah.
pile of equal lower value. And you play lost cards all the time, so yeah, okay.
So it's something, yeah, that's the thing, is you play lost time cards all the time. It's going to trigger fairly often. And I think I remember from memory, again, this was my first class, so that was ages ago, but it can also be a get out of jail card. So like, shit, if for some reason I haven't got a rest card and it's going to book my turns, you can do that and pull back a card that allows you to say switch. So I think it's an important kind of, again, puzzle piece in that character.
No, I like it. We should play some of these starters again.
I really want to play Geminate again because know if I've just like forgotten how not great it is.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Fine, that's it.
Yeah. Snowflake. It's a 2-ticker. At the start of each scenario, all enemies gain muddle. Whenever a new room is revealed, all enemies in the newly revealed room gains a muddle. Hot garbage.
Amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It's
and
all right.
It's great.
It's all right. We already had a lot of disadvantage. We've talked about this. You open a room and then things are out the back. You know, they're going to lose their muddle by the time they get to you. There's just, I don't know. There's damaged cards that you can get over this.
It's this isn't compare this perk to some other perks you can also pick. It's like, is this really good? Is it class defining? Like, is it worth 2 ticks?
It's got nothing to do with the snowflake. It's muddle and not damage. It's not class defining.
Squishy support with a pet. Yes, we differed on this because Daddy didn't get it till the very end.
Yeah.
And then when he got it at the end, I said, this is incredible. Why is this not happening? Like, I didn't think it was important. It's like, okay, all right.
That's why we don't share our perks until they happen. Otherwise, you know, they may influence what ones you get. Trap. I've got all 3 here because they're all singles and they all seem bloody class defining more so than the others. But whenever you long rest, you may create, you know, a 1 damage trap and an adjacent empty hex, which is really cool.
Yep.
Whenever you enter a hex with a trap, you may choose not to spring the trap.
Okay, that's the most important out of any of the ones we've read. Okay? Like, imagine a trapper that didn't get that, right? You'd be like, oh, I'm playing this trapper, but all my traps just keep exploding on me. And I'm like, did you read your perk chart? Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
But it's may. So it's an important word. Hey, you may want to take damage for some reason.
Well, I suppose heal traps.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
That's true. At the start of each scenario, you may create a 2 damage trap in the adjacent empty hex. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the rest one and that one are less class defining. I think they're good. They sound good, right, for that generation. The middle one, though, definitely. That's like
100%.
Like, it's the class. It's like, I feel like that should just be part of its abilities, to be honest.
That just makes me think the meteor one should be 1 as well.
The media one's different.
The meteor one should be 1 and then remove the allies thing.
So you just don't take damage on them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, because yours make you stand on them.
Yeah.
I think you should be immune to them all the time.
There you
And
go.
it should be 1 tick to make allies immune to them.
Or we can get damage. We can get damage. Meteor's not a support. There are no supports in the game.
I'm not saying support. I'm not saying 1 tick to make allies get bless every time they walk over. I'm saying them to not die.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fair. Coral, 3-ticker. Gain advantage on all your attacks performed while occupying or targeting enemies occupying water hexes.
That's 3 ticks.
That
I
was
thought
a
it was 2.
3-ticker.
Wow. It's busted as.
I did see that towards probably the mid to late game. I think once you started really utilizing that water, because there was a period of time you weren't putting water anywhere.
Well, there was traps,
There was no space.
snowflake stuff, and media. There was no water spaces at all ever. If I was to play again, I'd probably play. If you played more aggressive as well, because remember I played very defensively.
It'd be interesting how much damage that thing could pump out.
Oh, dude. Like, there's a card that it's got that I didn't use. I had, but I didn't use one of the abilities. That apparently is one of the most busted cards in the game.
Wow.
Like you just get a couple of power potions and you just go, okay, well, I'm going to kill everything in the room.
Oh.
Like,
That sounds terrible.
yeah. But like, no, I think, that is amazing. And as long as you can make it, you can utilize it. But yeah, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, okay. Shackles, 2-ticker. Increase your maximum hit point value by 5.
It's so boring.
It's classifying.
So boring, but it's
You
it's
have
really
to get
important. Yeah.
Look, if this was available on every character, do you think you would have to get it?
Yeah, because the game would be balanced around that.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I hear your point.
Yes.
To not go down that path. If this was an option to take on any character and the game wasn't warped because of that, you would take it because 5 hit points is a lot.
It is.
Like 5 hit points is probably going to be 25% of most characters' hit points, if not more, by the end of their kind of career.
Yeah.
But it's so boring.
It is.
It's the worst.
But
it's
weirdly, it is boring.
really
It was
good.
really exciting when I got it. Like,
Yeah, so good. Oh, look, because it enables you to do everything you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine all of the scenarios we did, but with you with 5 less HP?
No,
You
it's
die
terrible.
all the time.
Yeah. It's terrible. That's boring.
So yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying it's boring because it's boring, but it's enabler and yeah. Really
Oh yeah,
important.
it's literally what 7, 8 words. So fist, double ticker. Once each scenario, when you would suffer damage, you may negate this. Did he only just realize he had this
He only just realized
on
he
the
had
scenario
this.
we just did,
on the scenario, we
and he's
just
level
did.
7?
And he's level 7.
When did he get it?
Who knows? He probably saw it and went, "That looks real good. I'll get that."
So Mark only just discovered he had this perk activated in the most recent scenario.
Yeah. We don't know when he got it. He doesn't know when he got it.
Boring. It's literally just once a scenario. If you suffer damage, you can negate it.
Yeah, boring, but probably yeah,
Better than the banner spear.
yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
When you get crit,
take your
for,
word for
when
it.
you get crit for a whole bunch of damage that you don't want to take,
Yeah.
you're like, I won't take it. Or he actually used it really well in this one because he negated the damage from a deep terror, so he didn't take. He didn't
That's a
lose
good
card,
point, yes.
right. So it's got that utility, but look, I mean, it's probably on par with the banner spear one in that regards. Like you could probably negate more damage with the banner spear ones if you're putting yourself in that position.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's still very boring.
The drill 3 ticker, the res shutdown.
I think it's the most interesting out of all of them. I don't know how impactful it is, and 3 ticks is a lot.
It is a lot.
Like that's heaps of ticks. I'm actually very surprised that Phil got that because
If it was 2 ticks,
I'd still be surprised that Phil got that. Are you saying would it be more interesting?
yeah.
Oh, it's good. I don't think it's a bad perk. It's definitely better than the banner spear one.
It almost saved us that scenario.
It did. He just needs to listen to Mark. Yeah. No, but I think it's good.
Yeah. That 3 ticks is a lot.
3 ticks early. So this is the difference, right?
Yeah,
This
okay.
is when you get it because like the crab one I got halfway through and then I was able to start utilizing it. If I put that at the start and not been able to make use of it, it's hot garbage,
Yeah,
right? It's
okay.
terrible. Some of the others that we're talking about are the HP on your shackles.
That was one of the first ones I got. Yeah.
If you got that towards the end,
Yeah.
then it would be like, oh well, yeah, I suppose I haven't really had it, but yeah, I think
Unless he foresees himself going into a very tanky, self-destructing kind of blowhard kind of thing,
yeah,
then because that could be what he's doing. He's picking some really high damaging cards and he wants to go in, he wants to play around, retaliate, and doing a massive amount of damage,
Yeah.
and that. So that could be the main reason he's done it.
I think so. I think like if that's your play style, if it's like the burn bright, you know, anything that's not escape, if he can get his rhythm right where he's just gonna, I mean, kind of like what you were doing in the shackles, just like figure a burst of turns that you can just pump damage, then die for a couple of turns, get your best cards back, like just basically go, I'm get 4 cards and pick whatever I want to do, and then just go.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see it being worthwhile.
Yeah, okay. Lastly, Prism. Whenever you long rest, you may do so on any initiative value, choosing your initiatives after all ability cards have been revealed, and you decide your summon perform their abilities for the round.
It's like one of the best perks I've seen in the entire game.
And it's 2.
It's 2. Yeah, I know. This could be 3 and I'd still get it. Like if this was 3, I'd still have it right now. I just would have lost another one that I had already.
We're getting used to the part where we're putting our initiatives into the thing, and you're like, just put me at 1. And then when the thing comes up, you're moving to wherever you want to be,
Yeah,
right? It's nuts. And then the part you have to remember, because that's already nuts,
It is already
moving
nuts.
your pets, your summons.
Yeah, I know. That's the part I keep forgetting.
Yes.
That's the best part of
Yes.
it. Like, you know, it's, I mean, I was probably in combination. Yeah, it is. It's remembering that I get to make them do whatever they want and I can go anytime I want. So, yeah, it's absolutely critical. Class defining, I wouldn't say you need it to play the class from that level. Like, it's not one of those, you need to have this perk in order for the class to work, right? Whereas I actually say, like, the 5 HP for Shackles is more class defining than that in that regard. Like, it's an enabler for most of your cards. But it's really, really important to make sure you can keep everything alive and do the shit you want to do. So, yeah. Like, it fits really well with the character, and it's so powerful. But, again, I think you could play without it.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's actually a one ticker.
Would you play without it?
No, not at all, because I can, because it's there, right? There's one that's every time you short rest, you can transfer.
Yeah, okay.
which I also have.
Yeah.
So I'm in this weird space now where I'm like, oh, but I got that. That's a no shit button.
Yeah, okay.
Right. That's I need to do something. So yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that's the end of the list. We've still got 3 characters.
3 characters
that we still don't have, so we can't talk about those in any capacity. But, hopefully at some stage we've been told that we're going to get them before we finish the game. I feel like when we come up against Frosthaven, the boss, those 3 we'll unlock those from getting him.
Yep, that's right. It's like, congratulations, you finished Frosthaven here.
Yeah, play with these 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us again. We'll wrap it up there. Join us next week for, I think, well, no, I'm not going to tell what we're doing this time.
No, that's it. Yeah. We don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah, we
Who
have no
knows?
idea where we're going.
Yeah, that's it. No one can possibly work it out. You wouldn't know from any of the clues that we dropped during the scenario is it what we would be doing next.
That's right. I've been Denny. I've been joined again by Gaz.
And remember, when it comes to rolling terribly, it's all in the wrist.